it's time to shake things up a little. Because when I thought about it, I thought it's well overdue that I talk about the internal workings of the world of property. Or shall I call it the art of designing your property business systems? That probably sounds better. Regardless of the purpose of your business, it needs systems and processes, and that doesn't matter what type of business it is. In fact, there is one thing that separates successful companies from those that fail, and that's the existence of tried, tested, trusted and true business practices that benefit a particular enterprise rather than giving employees something to do. So you either have a people dependent business or you have a system dependent business, and the system dependent business wins every day of the week. Therefore, you must have property business systems in place in order to be truly successful, in my view. Now, implementing business systems and procedures has become relatively simple over the years for business owners, thanks to the development of technology, including dynamic software, cloud-based solutions and all the other software that exists out there. But is it feasible to do so without fully appreciating the advantages it might bring to a company's bottom line? To keep it simple, I decided to break it into 3 separate parts. So let's get started. Part 1. Understand the basics of a system. Simply put, a system is a set of rules or guidelines that guide how something is to be carried out, and it can also be a checklist of steps to take. And the reason for having a checklist is to give you consistency of outcome and consistency of process. From a business standpoint, this entails arranging the numerous steps and activities performed in a company and combining them into a structured framework of how the action should be performed and what defines a successful or not so successful outcome. And of course, it's iterative, and you improve and you tweak and you change as you go along. Nothing's ever perfect. And through your property business, this term of system may be applied rather liberally. There's no great leap of logic required to recognize that a part of your business, like say direct mail marketing or direct to vendor marketing, can be and should be systematized. However, less obvious topics like logo design or what to do at a networking event may be reduced to a set of precise steps. A system in a business will often have certain qualities and traits, if I can call them that, such as the capacity to deal with a certain topic or situation or a process, carry out procedures or routines or regular or irregular tasks, automate company procedures, which is incredibly important. And with automation, it's important you don't lose the human touch, because I think that is important, and your customers, clients, tenants, patients will recognize and appreciate that. And once you put it into practice, after that and it's working, it doesn't need much more work or thinking apart from the initial changing, tweaking, testing. It also helps you address inadequacies so you can improve and fill in the gaps and the shortcomings. Part 2. Consider the advantages of a system. Before you go any further, you must focus on the benefits of having a systematized business and systems in place. And yes, of course, there's more to a system than just graphs, charts and diagrams. The advantages of investing in a property system that works are: you save time, lower overhead expenses through efficiencies and improvements, which basically means you save money. You boost your revenue and you have more certainty over the process, and over time you'll have certainty over results and income. Deliver consistent and reliable outcomes, which is critical. Reduce the number of errors and mistakes, because nobody likes them and that annoys the other party, be it a customer or a tenant. Increase productivity, efficiency, as I mentioned earlier, and output. And systems and efficiency and productivity grow with your company. So as the company grows, you're going to break things, you're going to fix things, you're going to change things, you're going to bin things, you're going to start new things, or by things I mean processes. But at the end, and there's no end per se, but as time goes on, you're going to have a good system in place, but it requires work. And organizing your property business around systems has 2 major benefits in my view. One is that a system can be copied by someone else. This makes it easier for you to give assignments to team members, freeing up your time for the higher level work that your company needs you to do. Systems are also expandable, which is brilliant, because what you start off with and what you end up with are two very different things. And this benefit means that after working on your business for a while, you may bring on, say, business partners, or split it into certain divisions, departments, or even franchise, and the systems will allow you to teach, guide, build and develop other organizations and departments within your business, and you can do it rapidly once the system works. Think McDonald's, for example, and how that whole business works. Most crucially, arranging your affairs for your property business processes compels you to dissect every facet of your operation, and that requires time, effort, energy, enthusiasm and thought. And all of those things are good when you're working on improvements. You'll be required to stress test every aspect of your organization and business, just like a mechanic repairing an engine, pulling out each component to inspect what's functioning and what isn't, to change, improve, replace that particular part, and in our case, process. This may help your company's operations get some much needed clarity and concentration, while also honing your thinking as a business owner. Part 3. How to systematize your business. First of all, start by listing out all the potential systems that you may require in your business. Put whatever you can on paper. You're not going to capture everything, but you've got to start somewhere. And this is going to involve activities like sales, marketing, advertising, public relations, networking, hiring contractors, operations, finance, customer service, so on and so forth. Next, separate each of them into manageable groups. For example, for marketing purposes, this may include things like billboard ads, Facebook marketing, online marketing, offline marketing, digital marketing, so on and so forth. And then continue until you've written down as many elements of that broad group as you can. And this is going to take time. You're going to have to be patient, but it's well worth the investment, I promise you. And most people usually stop here. And I believe it's time to build a method for each component of your property business, so that it can be simply transferred to another person if somebody leaves, or moves on and does something else in your business, so that the consistency of output, consistency of process remains similar, if not exactly the same, but it should be exactly the same after a while. Determining this can take some time, so again, you need to be patient. Business owners frequently discover unnecessary processes or places for improvement when they write down the procedures to complete a particular task. By making minor adjustments and amendments here and there, you can optimize efficiency and performance without sacrificing outcomes, and that's incredibly important. Additionally, while creating the procedures required for each system, write down as though a new employee who's unfamiliar with your company is reviewing them. And then obviously test all that stuff, and then you can use video capture software to record instructions to save you telling the second, third, fourth person in line, because they can just look at that particular video. And avoid using jargon or shorthand language, because not everybody may be familiar with that. And lay down precisely how a stranger would carry out those operations and recreate this exactly the same results in a straightforward, unambiguous language, step by step, and in a simple way. And I think you ought to consider implementing the following types of systems. Importantly, and I say this as an accountant, a bookkeeping system. So this will be linked to your finances. Follow-up system, both for questions and queries from your tenants and customers, but also for your sales system. And of course, marketing. A lead generation process and system. This is incredibly important. And even if you're buying property, you do have leads, depending on the type of property you're buying. And I'll cover that some other time. A clear marketing system on how your business works in terms of getting new properties, getting new tenants. And of course, if you're using an agent to manage those properties, then looking for tenants isn't going to be top of your priority. Whether you believe it or not, every stage of the process for your property business may be systematized and should be systematized and outsourced to develop a business model that works for you. By outsource, I mean you can outsource either the whole function or outsource the designing of the particular process or system. And this eventually doesn't require your daily monitoring or continual engagement, so that you can live the life you have always imagined, and you can focus on the things that you want to focus on rather than telling people the same answer or pointing at the same problem again and again and again. And although some people undoubtedly like the chaos of conducting several transactions each day or like repetition, while doing something out of love rather than obligation is preferable, that is perfectly acceptable. You can get there with the aid of a good business system.